Fire! Hello, welcome to the floor of my bedroom. How awkward is that? I figure Russell Brand gets thousands and millions of followers by, talking crap from the edge of his bed. So I'd sit on the floor of my bedroom, make myself even lower than Russell Brand. That's what the Bible says. And I'm going to build a fire pit. And this felt like a great time to talk about fire in the Bible. I said I'd do it. I've got a fire pit, so we can talk about fire in the Bible. Why build my fire pit? See how engaging this is. This is awesome. Gonna get a handle on the situation. Hey, or a leg up. Anyway, what on earth is this for? I reckon that's what the Egyptians used to take out people's brains. Anyway, fire in the Bible. A year ago, I wrote this post on how to name your youth group and how not to name your youth group. Because it bothers me that people can't spell, basically. I can't spell, but at least I spell check it before I name something. And it bothers me that people use the word fire and burn and ignite and heat and things like they're passion metaphors, which is a very cultural way of looking at the word fire. And I said on this thing, you gotta think more carefully about, Joe, if I just left this under my bed, it could be like a very big, scary chamber pot. Let's not do that. It bothered me that people use all these cultural references for fire rather than what the Bible says about fire, which is something else. So let's talk about what is fire in the Bible. There's really only three things. How many of these should I have? There's really only three things in the Bible that that fire is used for. Used for lots of random things, but generally there's three things. It either consumes something, it destroys something, or it guides you somewhere. And so it's consuming, destructive, or guiding. And so, I really should read this for a second. Hang on. That bit goes that way into that thingy. There's no holes. How does that even work? Oh, it goes into that. There we go. This thingy. Right. Ah, nice and simple. That thing, yada yada. Right. So, there's only three things. It's consuming, it's destructive, or it's guiding. And so if it's a consuming fire, which is probably the biggest reference to fire in the Bible is the consuming fire, it leaves something better behind. And so sacrifices are consumed on the altar. And God consumes like burning away the dross, like the refining process, refining fire. This is all the consuming bit. And so it consumes all the rubbish, all the stuff that atones for sin, or the sin itself, or the bad, nasty stuff, like the grit on and the rock from the ore of gold and silver and precious minerals and stuff. It does that thingy and leaves behind something better, like gold. And so consuming fire is when we say, God, will you come down fire, rain down fire, send your consuming fire, fan into flame. We're basically saying, God, deal with my sin. Deal with my rubbishness. Deal with my pantsness. Deal with the epic fails in my life. God, will you get on board with the nonsense in my life and help me sort it out? Because, God, I need you, and I can't do it on my own. Please help me. And it's not a pleasant process, the whole consuming fire thing. When God comes in and convicts you and has to remove things from your life, that's the first one. So it's a good thing we do that. It's sanctification, but I wouldn't name a youth group after it. Consuming fire. God come and, effectively, I forgot a washer, effectively, hurt us in some ways so we can be left without sin. Maybe it's a good thing, it's a good theological thing, but, think about it. So that's the consuming fire. Then you've got this destructive fire. Think lake of fire, think Sodom and Gomorrah. Think about they were consumed in their passion for one another. Things that aren't very good. Things where God shows his wrath, he shows his nasty side. Not nasty, but just and fair side by consuming, like lake of fire, like hell, like Gehenna. Destructive fire. When Jesus talked about Gehenna, which we normally translate just straightforward as hell, he's normally pointing outside the city walls. Look, there's Gehenna, place where people sacrifice their children to Molech. Most children are no more. That is destructive. There's a destructive fire. So you've got two types of fire already. You've got consuming fire and destructive fire, neither of which I'd really want to name my youth group after, if I'm honest. They're good things, but yeah, they show things about God, but not sure whether I'd name a youth group after them. Then you have the third one, which is the guiding fire. God guides us with fire. So think about the Israelites being led by a pillar of fire at night, and they would follow the pillar of fire. It guides us to things. Or think about end of Luke, when the disciples say, "Didn't our hearts burn within us when Jesus explained the scriptures to us?" And so guiding them into what truth is. And so there's a fire of God that guides. That's quite a good thing. I like the idea of a guiding light, a guiding fire. So that's quite a good name, really. But there's fire in the Bible. They're the three main ways. It consumes, it destroys, and it guides. The way we normally use fire, it's quite cool leaning on this, the way we normally use fire is as an illustration of... Where's my screwdriver? That's not what the illustration's of. I've got a cooler screwdriver than that. There we go. We all use fire as an illustration of passion. So, God, look how passionate we are. We are on fire for you. Let's be on fire for you. And that wonderful Ignatius youth work video, if you've not seen it, look up Ignatius youth worker on YouTube. He talks about being flamers for God, and a bit awkward. But that passion that we call fire is very cultural. And nothing wrong with that. We want young people... Hang on, this is probably an important warning. What's it going to warn me of? Warning! Do not use stuff that you would normally use to start a fire. And carbon monoxide hazard. Never light this product at a spat, or let it smoulder or cool down in confined spaces. Okay, so let's not use this inside. Let's not take it in the shower. I can't get it off. There we go. So... what was I saying? Oh yeah, passion. Culture's reference is passion. Now, the Bible does talk about that. Ancient culture talks about passion, but it doesn't talk about it as a fire, like a fire in our bellies, although that's quite telling. Because when the Bible, when an ancient cultures, particularly Assyria, and people like that would talk about that passion, they wouldn't talk about their hearts or a fire in their hearts. They talk about their bellies, talk about their intestines, their gut. And so what the Assyrians used to do is when they were documenting their wonderful victories over people, let's sit this up, they would show pictures of their captives being taken away, and above them there will be vultures, and the vultures will be carrying rolls of intestines. Lovely. But that is a way of saying we've taken, almost like we've taken your heart, we've taken your passion, you have no more will to live, you've robbed you of everything, including your will to live. And so, this is cool. And so, let's put the handle on. Passion is great. I don't see us like naming our youth groups the gut or something like that. So there's nothing really wrong with naming your youth group after culture's version of fire and passion, but I think it's just important to remember when we're saying things like God sent you consuming fire, it might not mean what we think it means. And so fire's awesome. I like fire. I'm going to put this outside in my upstairs outdoory bit, which is very cool, and I'm going to enjoy burning stuff. And there is something about fire which is passionate and flickery and smouldering, but let's just bear in mind that the Bible doesn't use that phrase in that way. Oh, hang on, I got this thing. Yes. So thank you for joining me in my fire pit construction video. Russell Brand, eat your heart out, for me ranting about fire. It'd probably help if I put some Bible passages up, so I'll do that in the comments, and I'll probably write a blog post about it too. But for now, I'm going to find a way of tightening all these screws. I'm going to make some baked potatoes. Thanks.